Welcome to part 2 of my Oracle deck collection. I'm Meredith. I'm a spiritual life coach, certified hypnotist, and this channel is all about tarot and Oracle and empowering you. And before I forget, if you could like, share, subscribe, hit that little bell so you're alerted when I post new videos. That would be absolutely amazing. But without further ado, start with one of the newest decks to my collection. This is Woodland Wardens. When this deck came out, I thought it was really pretty, but I'm not super keen on animal decks, and I have some and didn't really think that I necessarily needed another. Even though it's got beautiful backs. And the artwork is beautiful. But then, I think someone posted, maybe it honestly could have been me, but I don't think it was, about using it with Druidcraft, which I use quite a bit. And I thought, this would be perfect with that. So, I ordered it. And just got it in the other day, and I really enjoy it. So it's kind of been all over, so you've probably seen this before, but just in case you haven't, each card combines an animal or creature with plant, which is really nice. Oh, I love the possum. So I want to show you, though, how it looks with Druidcraft, because I think it's just perfect. So, first of all, even the backs together, I think they just work so nicely. And then, just look nice together, and they feel nice together. Now, I do think I'm going to trim these and just get rid of all that white space. I'm not really going to lose anything on the back. It might cut in a little bit to the design, but I'm not concerned about that. And then I'll edge them too. So I might do that kind of light yellow, or I might do green. I don't know. Once I trim them, I'll figure it out. But yeah, if you're interested in seeing it once I modify it, let me know in the comments, and I'm happy to show it. But that's going to happen soon, because I do use this a lot, and I want to use them together, and I feel like, as wonderful as this is already, and it is, it'll be even better once I trim it. So yeah, it just feels right with Druidcraft, I think. So I did want to show you again. You've probably seen it, but just in case you haven't, the guidebook is very chunky. The images are in black and white, but I mean, they're still beautiful, and it gives you the meaning, and I think it's the same. Let's see, just to double check. Where am I? Oh. Yeah, so it is. It's the same keyword that's on here. And then it kind of explains why the plant and the animal were chosen. Gives you an upright meaning, a reverse meaning, and the thing that I most like about this book is it gives you questions. So in this case, remember the keyword satisfaction. So the questions are: what in my life brings me satisfaction? Have I taken time to express gratitude for what I have? Am I rushing things or honoring my own pace? So to me, these are really great because you can use them in a bunch of different ways, right? You can just kind of take some time for quiet contemplation and consider the questions on your own. You could use those to do like a tarot card reading. You could use them for meditation. And I really like that, because I think a lot of times asking the right question is everything, right? So I just feel like that helps you. And of course you can formulate your own questions, but maybe that can give you like some ideas to help kind of prompt that. Look how beautiful that is. And these are beautiful, beautiful cards. And yeah, I'm so happy I got them. So even though I haven't used them a lot yet, it's definitely a big hit for me. And next, these are the Power Thought cards. And this is basically an affirmation deck. And it's probably worth mentioning that I'm not really an affirmation deck kind of person. I will use affirmations, but not quite like this. And, you know, the thing is, so, like this one, for example, it says, I love life. On the back it says, it is my birthright to live fully and freely. I give to life exactly what I want life to give to me. I am glad to be alive. I love life. I mean, that's a great affirmation, but for me, I think these cards would have a lot more power if on the back, instead of just more affirmation, it gave you things that you could do to help you believe this, right? Because the thing with affirmations, the key is you have to believe it. Now, you know, part of it is people say, well, we'll just repeat it over and over and over, and eventually you'll believe it. Maybe, sometimes, but not all the time. You have to believe it at the unconscious level. You understand? You know, you can logically believe something, but if you don't feel it, if your unconscious doesn't believe it, it's not going to work for you. And repetition can absolutely help, but action is a lot more powerful. So, you know, there are things that you can do to really show yourself, so you can believe it, that you do love life, that you can love life and love yourself, for example. So these cards are moving on. I just never use them, and I just, they need to go, because somebody else, I'm sure, will appreciate and enjoy them. It's just not for me. So next, these are the Chronicles of Destiny fortune cards. This came in a huge box, like a book, and it's super cute. Too much space takes up, so I ditched that. Now they're gilded, and the problem with that is it was like a really cheap gilding. So the cards were all stuck together, and pulling them apart first took a really long amount of time, and there's just a lot of damage from that. So I think what I'm going to do is trim them down, and in fact, I think I'm going to trim this too and just basically have the images, because for me, I think the images are very evocative and beautiful. And personally, I just feel like I would rather use these as just a standard oracle. So this deck actually has its own kind of system. So in the book, kind of talks about how to use them. Has wonderful color images of all the cards. So even if I trimmed off and didn't remember what this card was and I wanted to use the book, I mean, I could just find the image. You know, it's no big deal. It gives you a moral of the story, right? So that's kind of the key takeaway from the card. What I really like about it is they kind of made each card a chapter, and it's all part of a story. So I do really like that. Then it gives you a definition. So it also has ways, it talks about how to ask questions, different spreads that you can use. And then it does give you just keywords at a glance for each of the cards. For me, I just think I prefer to read them just intuitively. I think I get more out of them that way. So this is another deck that I'm not going to get rid of, and I'm going to keep the guidebook, and I may use it from time to time. But yeah, for me, they're just primarily going to be an oracle deck, like a standard oracle. Or at least for now. I may do that and then decide, you know, I really want to get back to that guidebook and use them like that. So next, we have the Foxfire Kitsune Oracle. Excuse my voice, kind of in and out. The pollen is just, it's just the worst. So yeah, I live in, I'm surrounded by vegetation, let's say that. Now this deck was made in 2018. So it's the older version. It's super, super glossy. The backs are beautiful. The cardstock is horrible. I almost never use it because they just kind of clump, and it's unpleasant to shuffle this deck for me. But the artwork is so beautiful, and the newer edition is on much nicer cardstock. So I think I'm gonna have to get the new edition and let this one move on. You know, because depending on how you shuffle and just how you are, it may not even bother you. So I think there's someone who might really appreciate this deck. But for me, I'm very, very kinesthetic, and things have to feel right for me, and it has to feel nice to shuffle, and this just doesn't. I'm not a fan of animals dressed as people. Now, the rest of the cards in this deck are fine. Like, I don't mind this. This doesn't bother me. Something about putting a corset on an animal bothers me. I think it's, you know, it's like animals don't have breasts like women do. And I find it really creepy when they try to make it as though they do. So I'm not keen on this card. But the rest I love. I mean, this is beautiful. So, yeah, I really do like it. I just never use it. You know, I mean, I have, but I definitely need to get the new version. Because it's a beautiful deck and it deserves to be used. But I never want to use it because of how it feels. So, we may have quite a few oracles that need to move on from this. So maybe I'll do like a giveaway or 2 or 3 or however many of some of these decks. I mean, most of them are barely used. So let me know in the comments if you would be interested in that. Alright, but next we have carrot cards. Now these are super sweet cards. This is a deck that I'm pretty positive I trimmed probably considerably. I think the cards were originally the size of the box. These are the backs, and I did edge them. This is just a super sweet little deck, and I absolutely love it. The slow dog. Now the booklet, I don't use it. first of all, it's super tiny print, and yeah, I just don't. But it gives you definitions and things, and I don't know because I don't use it. But I just use it intuitively, and I really like it. It's super sweet. It's really cute with roots and wings. That oracle's coming up. Not in this episode, but soon. But yeah, I really enjoy it. It's a really, I love this rabbit in the air. And you know, even though, I mean, there's no keywords, right? They're just telling you what's in the image, but sometimes that's good, like the mechanical trap. You know, it's nice to have that there. So I don't mind. Normally I don't want to just be told what's in the picture. But, you know, and things like the slow dog, you know, I wouldn't have known he was slow without, you know, without that being there. Yeah, it's really charming and lovely, and I really like it. It's a really nice little deck. And I mean, it's super inexpensive and really just delightful. And the cardstock's nice. It shuffles nicely, and I love the size. So it's just a super sweet deck, and I really like it. And all right, this next deck. So this is the Fantod Pack. So this is really like a oh, what's the word I want? It's not really like a serious oracle. I will eventually think of that word. It's a novelty. But I really like the artwork. And personally, I use this as an oracle deck. I don't use the book. I just read it intuitively. Look at this guy. He's got like a human face. I just really like it. It's super cute, and even though the images are simple, I actually get quite a bit from them. I love the burning head. And it's just, I just really like it. And you're going to see the whole deck because it's really small, you know. So there we are. Again, I don't use the guidebook, and I'll give you an example of why. You know, again, remember, this was really made as a novelty. So it wasn't, made to be serious, I guess. So like the tunnel, we have just a bunch of keywords: Monday, sexual disturbance, a swindle, loss of wits, diseases of the blood, angst, false trust, an irrational project, an unpleasant discovery, bad luck, an execution, boredom, and panic. I don't use this. It's very funny to read through, but I don't use it for readings. But I do get good stuff from these, just on their own and reading them intuitively. So I really like this deck. Alright, next we have The Universe Has Your Back. Now, I've already mentioned that affirmation decks aren't really my thing. But this deck, I actually kind of like. I don't use it much. These are the backs. It's a nice deck. I used it a bit when I first got it. And really just as like a daily pull. I don't know. Now that I'm looking at it, maybe this can move on. I haven't used it in a long time, and yeah, you know what? I feel like, I mean, these are nice messages. There's some really lovely artwork. I love this, though. The presence of love will always cast out fear. And that's so true. Yeah, I feel like maybe I should let these move on, because I think that maybe someone else would get more benefit from them. So, yeah. I don't dislike today. Look, this is so terrible. I must have started to edge them and then lost interest, I guess. Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, so you can, I mean, I just don't use them. So, if you would be interested in a deck with maybe 3 or 4 cards that have edging and no others, let me know. And maybe I'll do that as part of a giveaway. Alright, next. This is another deck that is definitely moving on. This is Infinite Wisdom of the Chakras. I've never used this deck. So I've looked through it, never used it. Comes with a pretty big guidebook. These are the backs. I don't care for this deck. I really don't. I thought I might just trim off that whole bottom and just use the art, and the art's lovely, but it just doesn't, it's not enough. I don't know. I feel like it would be better off with someone who might use the whole thing. I don't know. To me, this deck is very schizophrenic. We have Hindu gods, and then we have things like, we have yoga poses. Okay, that's great. We have, alright, an owl. Then we have, you know, the raven goddess. I do love this. But then we have goddess of vibration. Back to yoga, sky messenger. It just, and a wolf. And I don't know, it just doesn't feel cohesive. And then some of the cards, like water goddess. Why doesn't she have a name? Why don't you use a Hindu goddess? Why? It bothers me. And she looks like an angel. So, and then we just have a dolphin. Like, what's that about? It's so bad. It's a beautiful deck. And now we have Aphrodite. It just feels schizophrenic. And I don't like that. I feel like they should have picked one theme and stuck to it. Instead, it just feels really all over the place. And some of the messages I just feel like are maybe not great. So, but you know, it's just my opinion, and I am sure that there are people who would absolutely love this deck. So it's got to move on to someone who will. Alright, and now, so this deck is Mudras for Awakening the Energy Body. So there are a series of these. I have 2. I'm not sure where the other one is. It will turn up if I have piles of oracle decks just waiting to be featured. I just haven't gotten to them yet. You know, obviously it's only part 2. Comes with a really chunky book. It has beautiful color images. And the thing about these cards, so they'll start with, you know, we go through the chakras. So, like in the root chakra, oh, it doesn't show them in order here. I thought it did. You can tell how much I use guidebooks, right? But it'll be easier to show you here. So we have the root chakra. So we have a card for that. And then on the back, you know, it'll tell you it's the first chakra. Gives you a meaning, location, sound, color, symbol, what areas of the body it rules, the element, and then qualities, right? So these are for the chakra cards. Then within each chakra, you have other cards that that connect to it, you know, that have to do with that chakra. So on the back of those, it'll tell you what it assists, the benefits are, how to do it, right? Because these are all different mudras. So, and it shows you an image of what it should look like, gives you the instructions, and then if there's a caution, there aren't a lot of them, but you know, for some, so this one lowers blood pressure. So if you already have low blood pressure, this is probably not the one for you to use. And then it gives you a focus, right? With deep awareness, I surrender what I no longer need. I think these are really powerful, powerful cards. And I absolutely love them. And, you know, these are cards I use just for me. And, yeah, and it's just part of my practice, just for me. But I love them, and I highly recommend them. And again, it's a series, so they have different ones that are focused on different things. And I did edge these, so yeah, it's a great deck. It's just not going anywhere. And next, this is the Enchanted Unicorn Oracle. This is a really pretty deck. Let me pull out the book just to show you. So these are the backs. Now these are pretty plasticky feeling, but you know, it's not bad. So they still shuffle pretty well. They're not really sticky. You know, I like them. So I don't use it all the time, but every so often I just get in the mood, and gives you a little key phrase along with I don't know if I'd exactly call it a keyword, but along with a title. And then the guidebook does have the color images, and it gives you divination descriptions and a unicorn magic. It's just it's a cute deck, and I do like it. And I am now kind of rushing because apparently my battery is very low, which I was not aware of. I thought it was charged. So I'm going to stop with just one more. Now this one is an independent deck. This is Open Portals Playing Cards. This is the Darkside edition. It's by James R. Eads. And like everything this man does, it's just superb quality. They're absolutely beautiful. And you have basically two choices, well, really three choices with these cards. So there's an Open Portals game that he created. And I love even the way he did, look at how that opens. So this gives you instructions on how to play the game. This gives you, if you want to use these as oracle cards, he gives you, he gives you a downside and upside kind of talks about it, and then he gives it a placement, like for the mind or structure or change or fear. So you can use that. You can also, of course, use these in any way that you choose. So these are the backs. They have his amazing artwork. So there are extra cards. So there are 56 cards. And you can use these just intuitively if you want. Or you can, you know, refer to his meanings. It's completely up to you. It's a great deck. I mean, it's a great deck. And it's super inexpensive. Especially considering all this wonderful artwork. And you get that game. I've never played the game because if you saw my previous video, I just don't have friends that like games like this. I would love to play. So clearly I need to make friends who like playing card games. But it's a really great deck. The quality is just fabulous. Just, you know, everything it does, it's top-notch quality. So I can't recommend this enough if you're into. Look at this. If you're looking for like a playing card deck to use in your readings or even on its own, this is a great choice. I mean, it's just a great choice. And he does have a light side version and a dark side. So I will hopefully remember to link his shop, and you can check them out for yourself because they are still available. And yeah, I really enjoy these. So I think we will end this here. Now this is only part 2. We have quite a few more parts to go. I'm not gonna lie. I have a lot more oracles than I thought. Still not sure of the number. As I go through, I'm adding them to Livid. So it's over 100. That's the best I can tell you. But until next time, be good to yourself because you deserve it. You deserve only the best, all the best. And that's exactly what I wish for you.